So please take a seat next to your friends, to your colleagues if they are not here, because they will miss it, and we're gonna have a lot of fun for the first 2 hours of this day. So I will wait a little bit for people to come inside, take a seat, and we're about to start in a few seconds.
All right, good. You made it.
Okay, are we ready? Are we ready? I cannot hear anything. Where is the host country? Where is ESN Romania? Can I hear ESN Romania maybe? Okay, a little bit more. ESN Romania? Come on. Okay, my friends. So, this morning, it's one of the few times that we'll be all together. Because you know, this conference is mostly about your learning. You will choose your learning. You will go to sessions. You will try to find the topics that you want to find out and develop. But now, the first 2 hours, we will have the most priority topics for ESN. So please pay attention and try to learn, because we're going to have very experienced speakers with us today, also from ESN, but also externals. And it's actually very nice to see this amazing crowd. It's so amazing to see, you know, the colors, the flags, the different t-shirts. Just take a look around. Try to understand where you are, because these moments here in the Erasmus Generation Meeting will stay in your mind forever. So try to take a mental screenshot. See your friends, see your delegations. Perhaps you are among people that you knew only by name. Maybe you saw a post, maybe you saw an email, maybe you saw the other colleagues here behind the screen, but this is the first time actually that you meet them. You know, I remember my first time when I attended the first annual meeting of ESN around 100 years ago. It was for me the first opportunity to realize how big ESN is. Back then, I was this shy volunteer from the local ESN section. I didn't know anyone, and I came here, and only then I realized that it's not only my section, it's not only my volunteers, perhaps the volunteers of the other sections of my country. It's all this thing. The impact and the outreach that we have, it is amazing. Back then it wasn't the Erasmus Generation Meeting, it was another structure, another event, similar size perhaps. But this is something that is unique, and this is the second edition, and I'm very happy to be here. So my name is Kostis Giannidis, and I will be your host for this morning, and I will be inviting a few speakers to tell you a few things. And you know, I just want to say, because we are talking about the Erasmus generation, I want you to understand that all of you are part of the Erasmus generation. No matter if you have mobility experience, or you are a non-mobile student but member of ESN, or even if you are institutional partners, that you are working in organizations, that you are contributing to the Erasmus Plus program in one way or another, you are all entitled to be part of the Erasmus generation. Because in the end of the day, Erasmus Plus is not just an application form. It's not a certificate that you put on your CV. Erasmus, as you all know, it's an idea. It's a mindset. Erasmus is all of us that we want to create a world more connected, a world with friends. Wherever you go, this is your home. Like to meet people and friends from different cultures, different backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, different sexual orientations, or whatever. This ESN and the Erasmus Generation Meeting is the place where you can feel safe. And this is something that you have to keep in mind. Now, for the first, before we go to the sessions, I will tell you the structure. So we will have a brief presentation about the agenda. We will tell you how the whole days will go. Then we will have some discussion panels, and we will also have some keynote speeches from distinguished guests. Before we go to the sessions though, let's start with the agenda, and for this I would like to invite on the stage the content team. Please give a big applause to the content team.
Okay, is it working? Yes, perfect. Hello everyone, good morning. So first of all, dear partners, dear guests and colleagues and friends, it's amazing to be here. And it's a pleasure to be speaking at the first full day of the Erasmus Generation Meeting. So thank you so much for all the auditorium to almost be here. It's amazing to see all your fresh faces. We will be briefly passing to the teams that are in the organization and also the safety team and the program. So if we can go into the presentation, thank you. The next one. Okay, so I have to say that it's a pleasure to be again involved in the organization of the Erasmus Generation Meeting, this time and the other side of the organization. So as a pastoral chief from EGM Port, it's a pleasure to present you the heroes of this EGM that have pulled this beautiful event in only 3 months. So if you can have a bit more energy and applause, just a bit of applause for them. Thank you. So on the screen we are seeing 6 people led by Alex, but we have over 70 volunteers, team leaders, volunteers, and the main OC. So it's amazing to have been working with them. You can see them around the venues wearing an orange t-shirt, and they will be supporting you with wherever you need. Try to be nice. You are always nice to them, but let's give them also the support that they need and thank them for their work. Following this, all the heroes have their support teams, so we have the content team. So, as you already know, I'm Sarah, so I usually say Erasmus, so as you already know. And we have 3 Portuguese in the team, 1 Spanish, and Dora, that she's from the host country. So she is having the time of her life during these past 8 months. However, we are not also working alone. We have a beautiful media team, so thank you very much to everyone, and also an amazing program team that put a beautiful agenda for you to enjoy and to learn more during these days. Now, this is our amazing safety team, so thank you everyone. Thank you everyone that is joining us and ensuring that this event is a safe event and good for everyone, and that everyone feels included and safe, and that everyone can speak if they feel that they need to. What you need to know about the safety team is that they will be wearing magenta t-shirts and that they will be around the venues. You can report anything that you feel that is necessary and that you want to speak with them directly. They will then follow with the communication flow, and they will follow up also on your report. Let's hope that this doesn't happen often, but in case you need it, they will be available to speak with you. Also, in case that you want to report anything anonymously, you can do it at the info point. There will be a box where you can leave the report in an anonymous way if you feel it as well. So what we want to ask all of you is to cooperate between each other, to be friends with each other, and to try to not have the necessity to approach the safety team with any major questions, okay? Apart from that, I hope that you have the event of your lives. I hope that you have a blast, and at the end everyone is really emotional and crying, and that you learn a lot. I'm going to cry for sure, but that you learn a lot, that you share your experience, and that you also can listen and communicate and discuss with our distinguished partners and speakers. So from my side is everything. I will leave the word to Dora. Thank you very much. Enjoy your event.
All right. Good morning, Erasmus Generation Meeting. How are you feeling today? actually sum it up, and once you're here, I think everything will be way easier to understand. Today we're having the largest exhibition of the Erasmus Generation, so it's going to be the EGM Expo. You used to know it a while ago as Mobility and Career Fair, but everything will be in one place this year. So take your time, go around, take the best out of this EGM experience, meet institutional partners, commercial partners, yes, and international stands, and also all the countries around you. Everything will be there, and you will have the chance to also discuss with them, find out more about mobility or career opportunities. So it's literally the time of your life here. At the same time, at 12:30, we're going to start the parallel sessions. There are around 30 sessions going in parallel today, with some others up to 90 and something in the next days. You're going to have your breaks, your free time and so on, which you can use and you can spend in creative ways. So if you feel like drawing, if you feel like singing, if you feel like simply sharing your creative ideas with others, you'll be able to use the creative space we will have for you. And I will let you know exactly the space a bit later. Also, if you have an idea that you couldn't find in the agenda, if there is a topic you really want to discuss with your peers, we also have a collaborative space for you. Everything you need to do is to announce on the Telegram group, and people who are free and can will join you. This is for today. I think it's enough, right? What do you think? Okay, so this presentation doesn't want to go to tomorrow. So we should definitely leave the moment, right? All right. Tomorrow we're going to have the same as today, some morning activities and some opening sessions. You can read more in the agenda already. You're going to find more tomorrow morning. So if you want to join any morning activity, which is starting at 9, you have all the details in the agenda, and some amazing people prepared some super cute, fun activities for you. You can even take a walk for a coffee. Did you know that? We're going to go back to the parallel sessions, the same as today. And what will be extra for tomorrow is that we will have a poster gallery, which you're going to see around, and I would really suggest you to take some time and learn from the best practices that the others are sharing. And also, you will have the time to meet the candidates for the International Board and Erasmus Generation Meeting 2024. So let's give a round of applause for them. On Sunday, the schedule will be pretty similar. What's going to happen extra? I mean, you know about the closing ceremony and the awards and so on. What's going to be something different will be the harvesting part, where you will actually have the chance to reflect to everything that happened during these days, and to also share this with all of us, with your peers, to also write it on a paper and so on. You'll be able to go through what happened during these days. So I'm telling you again, take the most of this experience. And I would like to have a small exercise. So you will know what you're expecting, and let's see on Sunday what happened. I'd like you all to stand up. Oh yes, good morning now. All right. I will give you a bit of time to think, a few seconds. I want you to think of one word which describes your expectations for this Erasmus Generation. One word. All right. I will now count, and when I'm saying go, you will all say it as loud as you can, all of you at the same time. All right? So, 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, amazing. Keep this working lines, and on Sunday, during the harvesting part, let's see what happens. Alright, and last but not least, I introduced a lot of activities, but do you know where they happen? would suggest you to take a picture of this screen. You're going to find information in the info point and around the venue as well. What you All right. So basically, all the sessions happening in the big room 1 will be in the Rectorate building on the ground floor. You will see volunteers around and you can also ask them. There are also signs going to that building. Also, in the agenda, you will find the exact Google links for specific building. If it's a bit harder for you to work on the maps, you can see the picture of the building and you're going to see it around. Also, the small rooms 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all in the library building, which is the one of the info point where you dropped the food for the international dinner and so on. And the floors are second floor for room 1 and 2, for small room 1 and 2, third floor for room 3, and fourth floor for room 4. I think it's pretty easy to remember. Same goes for the big rooms 2, 3, and 4. They're in the library building on the second, third, and fourth floor. And eventually, this is for tomorrow. We're not going to use these rooms today. You can have the room 5 and 6, small rooms 5 and 6, in the aula building. So actually, it's on top of the aula. There is one more floor. You're going to have a few open spaces around the venue. So I think you already know the one that you've done registrations to, where today we're going to have the expo. And also, in the library building, we're going to have 4 open spaces. The ground floor will be for different type of activities. The second will be the creative and collaborative space, while the third floor is for coffee breaks, and the fourth floor is for lunches. All right, is it clear? Yes. All right. I think this being said, I will see you around the venue, and enjoy.
Thank you so much, girls. Thank you, Dora. Thank you, Sarah. This is amazing. Many thanks to the whole content team. Can you imagine how many hours they have spent in order to organize this event? They have read almost around 150 applications, one by one to evaluate them to see which content to put in this one. You have so many parallel sessions, so many different things. This is amazing because before the Erasmus Generation Meeting, we had a different structure, as I told you before. Imagine being seated in this place for 8 hours for 4 days, or 9 or 10 hours. But now actually you have the opportunity to go around, go through different sessions, meet people, learn, and so on. So many thanks to the content team for everything that they have prepared. But besides the content team, there is also other people who have supported this event and make it to be possible, to realize it. So I want to invite on the stage our very known Vice President Adele on the stage. Adele, please come.
Good morning. Very good, it's working. Good morning, people of EGM. Can I hear you? Amazing. Good morning to all of our guests, partners, and all our volunteers, people who are involved in this event. Thanks a lot to the content team for a beautiful presentation. I hope that everything is clear, everybody knows what to do during the day. But yeah, there are a couple of things I would like to talk about today. And the first thing is international skills for more engaged societies. What a theme of this EGM, right? What a theme, especially for the European Year of Skills. Extremely relevant for our network. And I believe that all of you are aware of the topics that we have been discussing in ESN for the past few years. The recognition of volunteering, how do we, let's say, give a name to the skills that we develop while we are active in ESN or in other volunteering organizations? How do we, let's say, sell ourselves on the labor market? And how do we convince not only our parents or grandparents that ESN is worth it? So tell me, how many of you are currently studying? Raise your hands. Okay, amazing. How many of you are about to look for a new job in the upcoming year? Yes, Juan as well. Okay, so see, and this is why the theme of the CGM is extremely important, because this is something that we have been challenged by in ESN. How do we enter the labor market? How do we explain properly the skills that we have developed, and how do we convince our future employers that ESN is a professional volunteering organization? And that is why we have some very special guests this morning that I will introduce in a moment. But before I do that, I would like to highlight one very special partnership that we have, not only for this event, but a special partnership that we have been working on for more than 10 years. And that is the partnership we have with Pernod Ricard, another responsible party. Is there anyone, and now please be careful about raising your hand, anyone who doesn't know Responsible Party Project? Exactly. See, that's what I wanted to see. Amazing. So I'm very happy that all of you are aware of this project, and we are very happy that Pernod Ricard has been supporting not only our international events, but also the national ones and local ones for so many years already. And here at EGM Bucharest, you can see a lot of things that that Pernod Ricard has supported us with. So I would like to say a huge thank you to Pernod Ricard for this amazing support. We are extremely thankful for this. And another thing, a very special one, is the fact that we have the CEO of Pernod Ricard here with us today, Mr. Alexander Ricard. And I would like to shortly introduce him. Mr. Alexander Ricard studied both in the Wharton School of Business and also at the University of Pennsylvania. Before joining the Pernod Ricard Group, he worked in quite a few different places, such as Accenture, etc. And he joined Pernod Ricard in 2003. And something that is also very worth mentioning is the fact that he has been CEO of the company since 2015. And by this, I would like to invite Mr. Alexander Ricard on the stage to give his short keynote speech.
Thank you very much, Adele. And good morning to all of you. So, when I told my team that I was coming here this morning, I saw quite a few surprises. It's not that my colleagues do not believe in the partnership with the Erasmus Student Network. On the contrary, in fact, many of them have benefited from the Erasmus program in their youth, and all of them are involved in the great Drink More Water campaign. But coming to Bucharest at the start of Easter weekend, during a time of financial turbulence, some may have thought that the boss of a CAC 40 company had better things to do. Well, I beg to differ. On the contrary, I believe that I belong here with you more than ever. First of all, because I strongly believe in loyalty. I love coming to meet you each year. Your positive energy is genuinely inspiring. And I haven't missed any of the ESN events in the last 10 years. So, no reason to change in 2023. The second reason is because I always try to do my best of my commitments. I believe in responsible consumption of alcohol, and I believe that there's no conviviality with excess. It was therefore unthinkable for me to not come and celebrate the groundbreaking campaign we have developed to tackle binge drinking together with ESN, which has already reached more than 200 million people across more than 40 countries around the world. And finally, above all, the reason I'm here today is because I'm absolutely convinced that our society has never needed you more than now. Never before has our society been in such need of what Erasmus represents and the values you all carry on a daily basis. I come from a generation for whom openness, exchange, and dialogue were unquestioned key principles. I was 20 years old in 1992. Generation full of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War, where yours is the generation of war in Ukraine. Generation globalization, where yours is the one of deglobalization. Generation Maastricht, where yours is generation climate change and COVID. By the way, do not be depressed. The world is full of opportunities. My grandfather, I'll talk about him later, set up the Gare in 1932, which was the worst economic year in the world in the 20th century. And it is today the second largest wine and spirits company in the world. We're all Generation Europe, open, mixing and meeting others, experiencing new cultures. I consider myself extremely fortunate to have studied or lived in France, in Italy, in Spain, in Ireland, in England, in Hong Kong, and in the United States. However, for several years, I have noticed with regret this gradual return to an era of withdrawal. Withdrawal of nations into themselves, sometimes to the point of war and the rise of extremes. Communities withdrawing into a more virtual world, full of work bubbles and algorithms. The rise of loneliness, which is becoming one of the greatest challenges of the century. My grandfather, who established the Ricard brand and set the foundations for Pernod Ricard to become the company it is today, had a famous motto. His personal mantra, his philosophy on life in just 5 words: make a new friend every day. A simple mantra with the potential to build something extremely powerful. Address the damage of isolation, mental health, and even health in general. A simple commitment to your fellow citizens, a commitment to build a better world. So what of his legacy do I see today in my role? Well, my grandfather was at his heart an entrepreneur who loved nothing more than turning towards others, discovering terroirs, meeting producers, exploring ideas, working with committed men and women with the skills and talents to just do extraordinary things. When new brands join our group, they carry the DNA of visionary founders with whom we share exactly the same values. This is the case of new partners like Alexander Stein, who's the founder of the Monkey 47 gin brand, or Brett Barish, who has established a great business called Sovereign Brands. They are the modern-day incarnation of great entrepreneurs like John Jameson of Irish whiskey, the Chivas brothers of Scotch whiskey, or Ella Smith, who founded the brand Absolute Vodka. People open to the world, curious, inquisitive, always driven to find a better way. Men and women with a conviction that small gestures will build towards significant actions and impact. That is what is required today as we seek to address challenges such as climate change, where humanity needs unity of purpose to make the necessary difference. Ever since I joined Pernod Ricard, I have wanted, in my own modest way, to fight against this tendency to withdraw. As I said, to try to make the world a friendlier place every day starts with small gestures. As CEO of a company with a turnover of over 10 billion euros, I have never had a private office, never, simply because I enjoy working alongside my colleagues. Because I believe that dialogue is fruitful and that the unexpected encounter fuels creativity. This is today's business culture, which makes great things possible, which places the employee at the heart of the company, and authentic moments working together the fuel for future success. I have two very simple yet critical priorities as a CEO. I believe when I wake up every morning, I need to ensure I do just two things. The first, prioritize and nurture talent. It's all about talent. I'm obsessed about recruiting different talent profiles. From distillers to grape pickers, from accountants to data scientists, from poets to creators. You need best of all skills to make a great company. That's my first obsession. The second is to build trust and empowerment. It is the bedrock of success over time. If 95% of our 19,000 colleagues want to stay with us, it is because they feel trusted and they feel empowered to do great work. So it really is more than just a slogan. It's a business reality in Pernod Ricard. We have created a real family business that just happens to be a global leader in our sector. In our company, as in many places, remote working is of course allowed. But most employees prefer to come to the office to meet their colleagues. If the purpose of your company is making the world a little friendlier, it means creating the opportunity to multiply our moments of sharing together in real life as much as virtually. We're not just a company that develops magnificent wine and spirits. My grandfather also used to say he did not just sell bottles, but he sold emotions that people experienced together. This is true. We are creators of conviviality. Our job is to create around a glass, with or without alcohol, the possibility of an impromptu meeting, a dialogue, and who knows, an idea, a project, an experience to remember. We also do this in the partnership we make. Working with you, the Erasmus Student Network, who promote international mobility, is not just about committing to responsible consumption. It is to proudly say that we are on the side of the connection rather than the separation, of the collective rather than the divided, on the side of sharing, of joy, of smiles, of good times, and the possibility that something great can come from being together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I wanted to come here today to Bucharest, because what we are doing together is profoundly useful. Of course, we don't have the same concerns. You, an incredible network of volunteers, and I, representing a multinational company. But I believe that between those who keep the Erasmus network alive, which for 36 years has enabled 12 million students to open themselves up towards our other cultures and learn new languages, and Pernod Ricard, which has been trying to make the world a little more convivial every day since 1932, we all share the same beautiful profession in the world, that of bringing people together. And Gustis alluded to this in his introductory words. So thank you for supporting this partnership, for a more responsible consumption in our society, and for an education on responsible drinking, for seeking to change behavior for the better and to make a real difference. Thank you for keeping the values of Erasmus alive beyond Erasmus, for acting so that the timeless moments that punctuate life when you're 20 years old are more than just a parenthesis. They are a state of openness and conviviality, and the possibility to make a new friend for life. To see you here, committed, enthusiastic, activist of conviviality and unity, makes me particularly optimistic. Optimistic for the future, optimistic that the European motto, united in diversity, will continue to shine. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Alexander, for this inspirational speech. You have mentioned many things, but what I would like to highlight that I'm pretty sure also resonates with all of us is the core things that you mentioned: talent, empowerment, and trust. So these are all the things that we also focus on in ESN, and we are very happy that you joined us today. So thanks again for all this support. And now we will proceed with a short panel discussion, because, like I said at the beginning, we have more very special guests today with a very diverse background, and I believe that it is extremely relevant for all of us. Many of you have raised your hands when it comes to studies and looking for a job in the very near future, and we do have very good speakers that I would now like to introduce. You already know Alexander, and together with him, we will also have Luis Ruedo de Amorim, who is the head of unit of the Outreach and External Relations in European Personnel Selection Office. Luis has been working for more than 19 years for the General Secretariat of the Council of the European Union. Now, something that actually caught my attention is the fact that Luis came to Brussels in 1996 to promote non-formal education. So, as you know, that is very close to my heart. Very good. And, Luis, before joining the EU, he also worked for several European NGOs in the fields of education, youth policy, youth volunteering, and philanthropy. So Luis, please join us. Give him a great round of applause. Okay. Let's do this out. Yes. Very good. Let's do it. Welcome, Luis. Then our next speaker is Irina Ferenc, the director of the Academic Cooperation Association. Irina, like I said, she's the director of ACA, which is a mainly European network of national level agencies supporting international cooperation and student mobility in higher education. She works in the field of higher education since 2008, and she has very specific expertise which is practice and applied research in the areas of student and staff mobility in the European context. She also holds an advanced master's degree in EU politics and policies from Belgium. And something that is very interesting, she's Romanian, so we have a local speaker here. Irina, please welcome and join us. Okay, we can take a selfie later as well. That's fine. All right, and then as the last speaker who will join us is Laura Rambley, Associate Director, Knowledge of Development and Research of European Association of International Education. You already met Pete, who spoke yesterday, so EAI, an association that is very relevant for us and very, the one that inspired EGM, so we owe them a lot. And Laura, she previously served as a Deputy Director of ACA and also as Associate Director of the Boston College Center for International Higher Education. So Laura, please join us as well. Give her a round of applause. I will join you as well. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. We are very happy to have you here. And now during this short panel, we will focus especially on how we can connect the skills we develop on the labor market, how we can give it a name, and all these beautiful speakers will share with us their perspective, which, like I said at the beginning, is very diverse, and I do hope that you will find it inspirational as well. So for this, Alexander, I would actually like to start with you. Here in the room, we have a lot of people who are taking leadership positions for the first time in their lives. We have local, national presidents, vice presidents, communication managers, coordinators, and for us it is important to know what kind of skill set and the main elements of this leadership are similar across levels and sectors. So I wanted to ask you, as the CEO of a leading multinational company, what are the main elements of your job and what is the skill set you need to use to do it well?
Thank you very much. I'm going to talk only about soft skills because I think that in today's world, the hard skills and the technical skills is close to being a commodity. It's a must-have, but what's ever more so important is really the soft skills. I believe a lot in people that have drive and passion in what they do. When I meet people to recruit them, you can very quickly feel if they have drive and passion for the industry, for the company, for the job they want. I'm driven and I'm passionate about my industry and the company I work with. I'm driven and passionate about the people with whom I work. You also need, in today's world, resilience and determination. The calm world we knew in the past is no longer calm. We need to learn how to live and feel comfortable with uncertainty and volatility, because the uncertainty and volatility we know today is here to stay forever. That's my profound belief. So one of the key skills is to feel comfortable with that. Feel comfortable with the fact that we don't know what's going to happen in the coming weeks, months. Feel comfortable with volatility. I think this as well is a critical skill. Another soft skill, especially as you become extremely senior, is the capability to deal with complexity. And the capacity to simplify things in a world where it's very simple to complicate things and very complicated to simplify things. So dealing with complexity is something very important in terms of skills. And finally, the final two skills I would say is the capacity to embrace change, because the world is just like people, a living organism. The world changes regularly, and so do we. And we need to love embracing change from that point of view. And finally, learning agility. I learn every single day of my life. And I took that little habit of when I go back to bed at night after a big day, I think about what I learned during the day. And you always learn things. And curiosity is something of a soft skill which is absolutely critical to grow in life and in your professional careers.
I especially enjoyed what you mentioned about passion, resilience, and flexibility. So I believe that this is something that we can also see in ourselves a lot, right? In ESN. Thank you very much, Alexander. And now I would like to ask Irina. Irina, you are the director of one of the most relevant organizations in our beloved field. A civil society organization, membership-based, with a small team but with a very important impact. So, do you see any similarities across sectors and sizes? It's actually a double question for you. And how is it to manage a small office in this fascinating sector?
First of all, thank you very much, Adela, for the very kind introduction, also of our organization. Yeah, I confess I do the same when I'm moderating kinds of as much as possible, but I try to be brief in answering your double question. I was very happy, Alexandra, that you've actually started us in the panel discussion with this emphasis on soft skills, because when reflecting on the questions, I thought I really wanted to advocate for a broader approach to what we mean by skills in our conversations today. I mean, I know it's very much our motto of the year at policy level, it's the European Year of Skills. At the same time, if we look at skills, I think in a very narrow interpretation as the learned abilities that allow us to perform in a technical way a very specific job. I think what you call technical skills, then we might answer this question that you've posed, Adela, as yeah, there is a lot of variation across fields, across sectors, across types of jobs. But I do think that if we look at skills mostly from this soft skills perspective, and we talk about skills and competencies in the broadest sense of the word, then I think we do see that this core cocktail of skills and competencies tends to be the same, I think, across sectors, across types of jobs, although we might see some variation there as well, and rightly so. And just to give one example, we know problem solving is essential, creativity is essential for a lot of jobs of today. Communication skills are essential, and communication abilities and intercultural competencies and skills. If you're a social media manager in a company, you might need to show a high level of proficiency, to be really successful at your job in communication, perhaps, than if you are a chemist, perhaps, in a pharmaceutical company working on the next generation of medication. That doesn't mean that if you're a good communicator, you might not be a good chemist as well. But just to show some differences, how you see this variating, and yet many similarities are there. What I think is essential, and I'm going to say that not because we are at the EGM today, so we're in the lovely company of many Erasmus students, former and hopefully future Erasmus students as well, but we do know that this core cocktail of competencies and skills is really heightened by international education experiences. And we know that from a lot of research, and international education experiences can really mean mobility experiences like Erasmus, and I still want to emphasize that. I've been an international student myself, so I'm a strong believer in the learning outcomes that this can bring, but it can be also fostered by other kinds of internationalization at home experiences. We know it's important, it's extremely important. It leads to the development of those competencies and skills that are really essential on the labor market, and it is no surprise, I think, that this is very much supported through funding programs at policy level, through companies, and I think it explains why companies like are partnering with organizations in our field, because you do see, I think, the added value of supporting this. Now, coming back to the second part of your question, what is like to lead an organization at ACA? It's fascinating indeed. It allows me to practice on a daily basis, I think, the competencies and skills I've learned as an international student, and also test me quite a bit. Just to give a bit of context, we are a very small office. We are just 8 people in our office, but all with a very international background, all with different nationalities, and what we actually have in common is having studied and worked in at least 2 countries, but actually in most cases more than that. And we are living proof of how in a field as ours, actually this commonality through this core set of skills and competencies is more important than knowledge in that area, because we work on higher education, but I think only 2 colleagues in our team have actually studied higher education through their higher education work at universities. The rest of us come from other fields, have studied very different rich subject areas, but we have had this experience with international education in universities through the perspective of an international student. And I think it's what brought us together and evolved this into our passion, actually. Just to say that, I think quite often these core skills and competencies are even more important, actually, than the subject area competencies in specific areas. And I think I'll leave it at that for there, so that I don't go over my time. But yeah, look forward to the continued discussion. Thank you.
Elena, thank you very much. These double questions are always very tricky, but I believe that you managed it perfectly. Something that I would really like to highlight, the booster of the competencies and skills is the international experience. Amazing. I really like that. I hope you like it too. Okay. Then, Luis, I do have a question for you as well. EPSO is responsible for finding talents across the European Union. EU staff works in all kinds of fields, but you have a very interesting structure to categorize and evaluate the competencies. So what can you tell us about this? Do you think these competencies are connected with the ones developed through international volunteering, such as ESN?
Yes, can I get up? Because I'm not the sitting type. So, and it's not often that I have an audience this big. And I like to be on stage, by the way, if you haven't noticed it yet. So I, first of all, wanted to say that I feel at home. Because although I have not done Erasmus, I've been an exchange student. I did it when I was in high school with an organization called AFS. And I also did volunteering afterwards. And many of the things that you've been talking about are very dear to me and very easy for me to relate to. And what I wanted to say is that we have a job for you in the EU civil service. So I want you to please keep that in mind, that first of all, what we do is to work for the benefit of 450 million people, and that you can join us and make a difference every single day of your life. And this is not propaganda. I've been with the EU civil service for 20 years, and believe me, there's not a better place to be. One of the things that you have is the understanding of what it means to be in a multicultural, multilingual environment. And we want people just like you to come and join our service. It is extremely important to be able to understand what it means to be in an office where you may find 27 different nationalities on a daily basis, and you get it. So I think it's really important for you to know that for us, in the EU civil service, that is a crucial skill to have. But something else that may not be so familiar when I say the word, but you will understand when I describe it, is intrapreneurship. And we define that as the ability to self-motivate. A lot of us think about motivation as something that others must do in order for us to accomplish something. Well, we, EU Civil Service, want people who can self-motivate. And just today in the morning, I was speaking to a colleague of mine who told me that one of you, coming from Bulgaria, took a bus 5 hours to get to this meeting. I want that person in my service. Because that is self-motivation. The ability to actually think, okay, I don't need somebody to go out there and tell me that I'm going to get a plane ticket to come to Bucharest. I'll get on a bus for 5 hours because I want to be with these people and I want to share my knowledge and learn from others. Now, something else that I think is very important is communication, and I'll stop at that because I know that I only have 5 minutes and I could speak for 20. So, communication. It's not just the ability to stand on stage like I'm doing right now and, face a crowd. It's also very importantly the ability to listen. In the world of today, working in teams, working with others, means that you have to be not only able to pass on a message, but you need also to be able to listen to your interlocutor. You need to understand the needs of your stakeholder. I think that you are very much connected to this idea of dialogue, of sharing, of understanding each other. You come from very different backgrounds, even from an academic point of view. And this is something that I wanted to underline, that when we talk about communication, we're also talking about listening to others and being able to digest that information. So, as a conclusion, you have the skills that we want in the EU Civil Service. So if you are attending on Saturday my workshop about EU careers and how to apply, you will be able next week already to start preparing to become one day an EU Civil Service and join me and many of my colleagues in Brussels or Luxembourg or in all of the 27 member states where we have agencies to work for the good of the European project. That's it.
Wow, gosh, I know this was not supposed to be propaganda, but I think I just reconsidered my future career. Okay, thank you very much. And now I would like to go to Laura. Laura, a leading professional in the international education field, and Laura is one of the most dynamic organizations in this field. So many ESNs end up working in this sector, even if they didn't consider it at the beginning of their volunteering journeys. So my question is, what does the sector have to offer, and which kind of profiles can thrive?
So thank you very much for including the EA and including me personally. This is my first ESN event ever, so I'm delighted to be here. I can say with great confidence you've hooked me, and I'm having a very serious conversation with my 17-year-old daughter when I get home. So a very exciting question. I will do a talk later today about the extent to which we also want you in the field of international education will be competing with Luis for your attention and your interest. The EAE indeed is the professional association in Europe that brings together any and all individuals who are working in a professional capacity in the field of international education. And what I think is so very exciting about what we do today is that international education today is not your parents' international education. It is an extremely wide, dynamic, thriving, complex area of work that really requires fresh talent and fresh ideas and energy to take it forward even further. Work in this field is so interesting in the way that it can involve work directly with students, so there's a student experience component. There is work to be done with the staff and faculty within institutions that are also seeking to internationalize in different ways. There's work to be done with the actual educational experience, the curriculum, the ways we're teaching and learning today. There's work to be done in terms of the student experience, all the many hours and parts of the lives of students that take place outside of the classroom, that indeed also have fascinating international and intercultural components to them. The work also today involves entrepreneurial activities, commercial activities that are supporting the sector in different ways. So if you have interest in those areas, there are places for you. We are also committed to thinking and acting in all the big issues of the day. So peace and conflict resolution, the sustainable development goals. If you have interests and concerns in those areas, there are avenues in international education that allow you to build on those interests and again, contribute to this broader project that we have to make the world a better place. Finally, there are many, many interesting new opportunities in terms of policy work, so the work that is done by ACA and all the national agencies that are connected to her association. And of course, international education is an area of research. So if you're somebody who's interested in educational issues, sociology, the politics of education, there is much to unpack through an academic career in international education as well. So a very, very promising area. In terms of the profiles that we're looking for, I think there's not much more I can say than beyond what my colleagues have mentioned here. We are looking in our ranks for people who are clearly bright, hardworking, committed to the work that needs to be done, an appreciation for complexity. I will hone in on that because I do think that is increasingly important and vital. Collaborative, another key area, and of course this room is bursting with that quality, so I think that comes naturally to ESNers. One final thing I'll mention though, the notion of passion really sticks with me, but I'd like to kind of tweak that a little bit. Passionate, but critical, or passionate and critical. There's a nice quote that I really like to use when I talk about the work that is done often in international education, and it goes like this. You can be sincere and still be stupid. And it sounds very dismissive, and I would never apply it to anyone before first applying it to myself. We get very excited about what we have experienced through international education. We believe in our hearts and in our souls. It is good for us, it's good for the world. But how do we really know? How do we really understand what's happening here? What evidence do we have? And are we being open to this idea that there can be unintended consequences? There can be challenging components to the work that we do. It's not all a world through rose-tinted glasses. And I think passionate yet critical is a really important package that I like to see in the next generation of international educators.
Thank you very much. This was quite something. We are very happy that you joined us as well, and I do hope that you enjoy your first ESN event. Okay. Oof, what a round. So now we will proceed with the second round of the question. I will have the same question for all of you, and possible, let's, this is a speed round only for 1 minute. So the question is, if you could travel back in time based on your experiences and sectors, what is the one skill that you recommend to develop to thrive from the beginning of a career? And Irina, can I please ask you to start?
Yes. Well, I hope we'll do it. I'll do it in 1 minute. I got quite inspired now by the powerful quotes that were used by colleagues here in the panel. And something that came to mind when I thought of the one skill or the one competence, that makes a difference. It's a quote I heard at some point, and I didn't really think it's a good quote at the time. Someone once said to me, remember that people are hired for their competencies, they're fired because of their attitude. It struck me as a little blunt, at first, but looking back now, thanks to your question, what makes a difference, at least in the field that we work in international education, I think it's having a constructive attitude, and that to me is related to a lot of the key elements that colleagues emphasized here in the panel. It's this openness, this eagerness to learn, feeling comfortable, with uncertainty at times, and with ambiguity. And I've seen in my personal experience how that can really lead in time to this entrepreneurship, I think you call it, Louis, this self-motivation, and at the same time the passion that we might not necessarily start a job with, because we might not know that field, we might not know that's our calling, that's what motivates us. But I do think that having this kind of open attitude is really the one element that makes a difference and can help people become very professional at what they do, become very passionate, and then also make it their calling.
what is the one skill?
I'm going to be disruptive and say two, but I'll make it very fast. Simply to say that I do think leadership is the one thing, as I look back at my own development, that I wish I had made a priority for early on. I think many of us are thrust into leadership positions without having had the benefit of some formal focused training in that area. Or we are aspiring to those things and really don't know where to begin and how to move forward. So I would encourage anyone, and really to pick up on what Pete van Hove said yesterday, leadership is not necessarily being at the top of any particular institution or organization. It is something that we can do at any level at which we operate in our organizations, and that is very important in those contexts. And then the second quick skill I will mention is this idea of interdisciplinarity, professional interdisciplinarity, to have indeed some specific skills and expertise, but to understand how that expertise, how that particular interest fits in the larger picture, and to be able to cross those borders with others with different kinds of expertise and interests can only sharpen and focus and strengthen any sort of organization that you're working for or any agenda that you're trying to advance.
Yes, Laura, thank you very much. Luis, tell us then, what is the skill?
Well, I think in my case it would be digital skills and data numeracy. I think it's extremely important in today's world, whatever job you do, to not only follow the developments that are happening when it comes to technology, but also to understand that so much of what we do is driven by data. So if I had to go back in time, I would have spent more of my time learning about technology, learning about data management, learning about information management in general. That's what I would have done. I don't think that the jobs you will be doing in the future will be possible without you having those skills, both when it comes to technology and data numeracy, information management, and so that's what I would have done. Yeah.
As well, Luis, and to close this with Alexander, if you could go back in time, what skill would you choose?
Thank you. I'll just share with you what I did back in time. In fact, I followed the advice of my father when I was you, and I was pondering all my career opportunities and choices. In choosing a career, choosing an organization, choosing a specific job is an important moment in somebody's life. You're going to spend a lot of time working hard. It's going to represent, a third, maybe 40, 50% of your life. And given your background, your experience, your studies, your profiles, international mobility, you have the chance to have an array of choices. So my father gave me the following advice. He said, no matter what you choose, make sure of two things. First, love what you do and be passionate about it, because you're going to spend a lot of time doing it and a lot of hard work doing it. So you better love it. Every morning when you wake up and go to work, you better have a smile on your face, because it's going to be a big chunk of your life. Number two, be darn good at it. Well, I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you very much. Well, all of you have mentioned things that are extremely relevant for ESNs. We talked about soft skills, about hard skills, and we already know what you might be looking for. We also spoke about talents, so I do hope, and I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of talents in this room, so hopefully you will get a chance to get to know them as well as the participants will get a chance to get to know you. Many of our speakers are staying either for the rest of today or some of them even until the rest of the event, so I would like to encourage everyone to approach them, ask all the questions, and same for the others. Thank you very much for your time for this panel, and I do hope that you enjoy this event.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adele, for moderating this wonderful panel. Thank you so much, Alexander, for the amazing speech. Thank you, Luis, Irina, and Laura, for your interventions. This was amazing. You know, I hope you appreciate this, because it's not easy, and it's not always the case where you have the opportunity to sit in a room with the CEO of a multi-billionaire company, or with a person who heads the unit that employs the civil servants around the European Union, or distinguished international providers around Europe. It's not that easy, so I hope you appreciate the fact. And you know, we are discussing about skills. In Europe, actually, there is a big shortage of skills. There is a big demand. There is unemployment, yes, but there are companies that they are looking for people, for qualified, skilled people, and they cannot find them. And do you know why? Because unfortunately, university is not enough. You know, higher education, formal education is not enough to prepare you to go to the labor market. I mean, companies, they don't care if you have a degree from somewhere. They don't care if you graduated with good remarks or whatever. They care that they care about people who had the opportunity to volunteer during their university studies. They care about people that they left out from their comfort zone, and they actually gain some skills, they gain some knowledge, some opportunities, besides the knowledge that they gain from the room of the universities. And this is important because us, the volunteers, ESN volunteers, but also volunteers from other student organizations, when we graduate and we go to the labor market, we go with an advantage, the advantage of the skills that we have gained through our volunteering opportunity. So please, keep this in mind because it's very important. And you know, reality goes so fast that university cannot adapt. We are living in a world of climate change, we are living in the world of artificial intelligence, now we have ChatGPT and so on. They don't know about this, but we know because we are in the things. We know what is happening around. And we are the new generation, we are the generation of the Erasmus generation, let's say, that we have this knowledge. And this is what they are looking for. Now we will continue on this topic of skills, and I would like to invite two other very known people in this room. I want to invite the Treasurer of ESN International and the WPA of ESN International, Alter and Bianca.
Hello, hello. Amazing, amazing. Okay, today we'll be speaking about the baby steps of your career, which is internships, traineeships, Erasmus Plus program, and the insights of it. Amazing. As the famous philosopher Confucius once said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." Erasmus Plus traineeships involving you in the real world of work, providing information about practical skills that you cannot find in the classroom. But it's not about the practical skills. Erasmus Plus traineeships is providing you the chances to meet new cultures and perspectives. Your work will be filling a large part of your life, as very important guest said. And to be truly satisfied with it is to do what you believe is the correct and great work. And you are the average of 5% that you spend most time with in your Erasmus Plus traineeship. By surrounding yourself with the professionals and inspiring successful people, you will be raising your own game and setting yourself a success in your career. One of the ways that ESN contributes to this program is by providing information to the students who wants to intern abroad. ESN local sections, representatives here, providing information about the opportunities of internships, helping with suitable housing and transportation, and guiding people for the local culture, which is very important. Also, in the technical part, ESN is providing suggestions and feedbacks to the program with the experience from the students we are serving. Do you know what is very cool? Data. I know it might sound boring, but this is a very important thing. In 2022, there were over 27,000 new internships was posted in erasmusintern.org. This is approximately 30% of the numbers reported by the European Commission. We are almost the biggest supporter for these KPIs from the European Commission. In erasmusintern.org, companies can post their internship offers, students can have their profiles searched and apply for their internships. We are the Google of Erasmus Plus traineeships. Data is a very helpful thing. By analyzing data, we can have the patterns and insights that we might not thought of before. I said in GA once, the opportunities are like ocean. I am taking this to the next level. Opportunities are like space, and our dreams are like spaceship. But you know what? Even if you're a spaceship, you cannot operate without fuels. Our fuel is our data. Now, I will leave the floor to my dearest colleague for talking about data for this program, because without reality, we will be only dreaming and cannot go to space.
We made the presentation going after Albert talked for like 5 minutes, so let's see how am I doing from now on. So Albert mentioned some numbers, and I'm going to give you a few more, and I want you to remember them because it means also what Erasmus Inter meant and in the past years, and also the potential of the platform that we are going to explore more in the upcoming years. So we had last year over 70,000 interns that used the platform to find an internship. This only means the new interns from last year, so if you have, there are people that registered in the year before that, we still have them, they are still there. There are over 40,000, but this is just new data from last year. And of course, I want to mention that we had over 28 million views. It means everyone at some point, even if they don't find an internship, they still go and search through Erasmus Inter, and this is the potential that we are talking. But let's see how it actually works, how Erasmus Intern works, and I hope my clicker is not going to leave me, because, amazing. And it works for the three, let's say the triangle of the stakeholders involved in Erasmus Intern, because we couldn't run this, and we couldn't make this work without any of them. We need the higher education institutions to work with mobilities, to offer traineeship opportunities to their students, so that they can go. We need the companies and the organization to go out there and find these interns, to post the offers and look for them. And of course, we need the students to willing to go and learn somewhere else in another country and have their mobility experience through the traineeships. Starting with the students, the first category, we offered them the opportunity to stay up to date with the latest internships, to search, find and apply to them, everything to the platform, and of course to gain the experience and put all their skills together and, well, gain the work experience. And talking about the students, because this is very important for us, we also take into consideration their experience. And we go around and we look for the researches, and I also got a few more numbers for you from the survey, which says that, well, of course, comparing to the studies, to the mobilities for studies, they have a bigger interest in career development aspects. They were very satisfied. We don't have data yet on what happened after the pandemic, but we know that before they were very satisfied with, at least half of them, they were very satisfied with the social life, so they had work-life balance well done into among their internship. And well, what we are planning to do is to take this even more in consideration, offer through the platform more opportunities for them to develop their skills, to add those skills to their career path and have everything in there. And just for the companies that are around the room, but also for everyone else that doesn't know yet how it works from the other side, well, the companies or organizations can publish internship offers. They have the space to post it there, as many as you want for now. And of course, the offer is available for all the students registered. They can search through it, they can choose whatever level of studies they want, what profiles they look for into their new trainee, and of course, students can then look for it. and they can check the applications, the motivation letter, and the CV of the students, everything in the platform. And for the last of our stakeholders, amazing. We need the student uni and company synergy. We need the unis to set up the time frames and to look into Erasmus plus trainship grants, to have less back and forth. It offers the less back and forth from companies to universities, offering everything inside the platform, and a smoother process for everyone involved in the process. And this is all. Please. Wait. Yes, now this is all.
We should never avoid the importance of baby steps before running for a thing, for a fact. So we are, as ESM, still working on a new project to improve this program even more. We are joining new projects, new grants to involve this more and more, and all we need is your help to engage with the platform, with the project, have your internship, because in the first day when we are opening this, we had a lot of study here, but not an internship. This can be your next opportunity, and please engage with us and visit us, learn everything. Thank you very much for your attention and your time.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I'm actually so happy to see that you brought in the EGM this topic, the topic of the ErasmusInter.org. I was always saying, and many people in ESN, they were saying that ErasmusInter.org, maybe it's the most powerful platform that ESN has ever created. These numbers that you're seeing here, it's something that's very difficult to reach, like really difficult, not for ESN, but for any kind of providers outside. Even also for the European Commission, I remember that they came to us when they were launching the new Europass, because they also have several services for providing skills and opportunities to young people and so on, and jobs. They have anyway, some other platforms, I don't recall the names now, but when they were seeing the numbers of the ErasmusInter.org, they were super fascinated of what we can achieve with that. So I think we have to, all of us, be proud about this, and we have to promote it everywhere, to your friends that you know that they want to do an Erasmus, to your universities. This is a very good advocacy tool as well, to go to your university and say, look, we have this tool. And I believe, and I pay attention to this now because it's important, because after COVID we have so many volunteers who probably, we have a huge turnover, volunteers who left during COVID and so on, so maybe you don't know the platform. So I'm super happy to see that you brought this topic in EGM to the board and the content team, and many thanks for that. Now, we are almost there. We are about to conclude the first session of the day, the morning sessions. We have one more presentation, a very important one. And for this, I want to invite to the stage the representative of the European Commission who is here with us, Giedrius Sudikas, who will present us a topic related to the Council recommendation and mobility. Giedrius, the floor is yours.
Are you inspired? Yes, me too, and privileged to be here with you, I'm delighted. So, and congratulations for great organization efforts. So congratulations to all of you, a great event, great Magna Aula. And I feel this energy from the presentations, I feel this energy from you, and this Erasmus energy matters. It matters because through you, you can encourage more people to go on learning mobility. You can inspire more organizations to organize these mobility projects. And what we can say. And I will be speaking about the new council recommendation that is in the making. And as it is in the making, it is also your time to contribute and to have your say on it. So my first challenge is to operate this thing, I understand? Yeah? Well. So why learning mobility? Why is it important? So that's what we're speaking the whole morning. But we're speaking a lot about the individual impacts on individuals, but also it makes changes also for organizations that organize these mobilities and also for the societies. And learning mobility creates trust at all levels, and the trust is the basis for cooperation, for economic prosperity, and for ability to address global challenges together. It is also, learning mobility is also an antidote from antagonism, from populism, from radicalization. It's Erasmus, and learning mobility is about opening minds, so it's also about moving away from narrow minds. So in a way, it's about peace, and what can be more important than peace when the war is literally next door from here? It's literally across the Romanian border. So, what is the state where we are with learning mobility? So, in this audience, in this magna aula, so I have this powerful impression that it's already a reality for everyone. And indeed, great progress has been achieved over 35 years of Erasmus program and other programs. We have over 13 million mobilities in these years. And current generation of Erasmus program, so it's set to achieve roughly 1 million mobilities per year. So that's for learners in all sectors and stuff. So that is quite impressive. So the numbers are impressive, the progress is undeniable. However, I argue that learning mobility is still an exception today. So we have another figure, so it's only 15%, only 3 out of 20 young people have participated in learning mobility according to the recent Eurobarometer survey. In higher education, we speak about modest double digits, so it's 10–11% of graduates with credit mobility today. In professional education, there is a EU target of 8%. We are below that. In school education, adult education, we are far below that. So, so what do we suggest? So we suggest really to make another important, decisive space for learning mobility for everyone. And I represent the European Commission. The European Commission does not have many instruments in education policy because, as you know, education is a national competence. The content of education is defined by the member state and the education systems organized by member states. But the Commission uses the instruments it has to a full extent. I can assure you of that. And the best example is, of course, the Erasmus program, European Solidarity Corps. There are also many soft policy instruments that provide guiding principles towards high quality and inclusive education in Europe. So to name a few, we have a European education area, we have a strategy for European universities, we have instruments on recognition of learning outcomes, on pathways to school success, on learning for green transition. These are soft instruments because, again, the competence is national, but the EU provides a direction and guidelines where should be education policies move. And we are about to propose another guiding policy, so it's this Commission proposal for the Council recommendation on learning mobility. So, learning mobility for everyone, what is it about? It's about moving towards learning mobility as a norm. So this is the objective of this common European education area. Transition between education systems should be as smooth as possible. It's also about expanding opportunities for learning mobility to all learners, educators, and staff in all education sectors, formal, non-formal, and formal. It's about adding more trust between education systems, for example, through recognition of learning outcomes. It's about more inclusive, more sustainable, digitally ready learning mobility. And it's about support mechanisms to mobile participants and to organizations that run mobilities. So it's also about the role of the organizations like the ESN. It had to happen. Yeah, good. So where we are now? So it's the first half of this year. So it's our preparatory phase, a conceptual phase. We gather the evidence. We have a dedicated study running. We will have soon, in 10 days, a validation workshop where we also invited ESN representatives to that. And we conduct many consultations and inform stakeholders like I do here today. In the autumn, the Commission will adopt a proposal from the Council. Then it will be received by the Spanish presidency of the Council of the European Union, and it will be discussed in its preparatory bodies, so mainly the Education Committee and the Youth Working Party. And in the beginning of next year, the Council, in its configuration of the EU education ministers, will adopt the recommendations during the Belgian presidency. A few words about the consultation strategy. We have 3 building blocks. So we have targeted consultations. We have an innovative citizens panel, which is ongoing. So it's a new initiative of the European Commission to engage citizens in the European decision making. And this year, it's the first time these panels are organized, and it's organized on 3 topics important to citizens: on food waste, on virtual worlds, and on learning mobility. So it's about selecting 150 randomly selecting 150 people from all EU countries and from all backgrounds, and they deliberate over 3 weekends under these topics. And on learning mobility, we already had 2 sessions, and the last session will be at the end of April. And at the end of April, they will also provide their recommendations to the Commissions on the new initiative. And also, last but not least, there are 2 public consultations ongoing on the EU public consultation portal, Have Your Say. We have a QR code. I hope it works. I generated a free QR code generation, but I like the EU logo a lot of that. So it's about call for evidence and the public consultation. So this is an obligatory step in all the proposals that come from the European Commission. Call for evidence, it's more about expressing position and providing additional evidence. It's more for organization and researchers, but for everyone interested. And the public consultation is a questionnaire, so it's primarily for individuals. And both of them are open until 3rd of May, so there's still time. So please give your feedback and please promote these consultations also to your stakeholders. And what we hear from many heritage consultations, this goal to extend learning mobility, especially to other sectors, that support mechanisms and support structures are extremely important. In universities, these are big organizations, mainly, which normally have very good international units, which help to organize these projects, which consult the students, which organize mobility projects. For organizations like schools, professional education, adult education, it's very much based on the real enthusiasm of the teachers and people working on a voluntary basis. So it's very, very important to give them support, and I think the ESN has also a very essential role in that. So I ask your involvement, and I wish you to continue the very inspiring Erasmus Generation Meeting. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Gilles. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see the support that the European Commission shows to ESN. And thank you for showing to the volunteers how they can contribute actually in improving your consultation and your recommendations. So thanks again. Thank you very much for that. This was the last presentation. I hope you enjoyed the sessions of this morning. As I said, these will be rare opportunities that will be all together. And now the next part of EGM starts, which is the most interactive one. It is the one that you choose what to learn. You go to different sessions, you choose, and then you discuss, and there are different formats. There is also the expo and many things that you can see. As I said earlier, I hope that you appreciated the presentation, because it's not always very easy to be in a room with such qualified speakers. It's important that also we learn about the Council recommendations, and this is important for all of you, for all the countries of ESN. This is not only for the EU countries, right? As organizations, you can go there and give your recommendations on how to improve mobility, because they will produce a document. This document will go to your governments, and the ministers of education, they will start implementing what is in this document. And it is important that us, the representatives of the Erasmus generation, to have our say on that. So please try to understand how important this aspect is. And with that, I think we can finish the session. Do we have any announcements, or we just leave it like this? Any practical announcements with the OC? No? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for this morning. Enjoy the rest of the journey.
For the next one, you found them, right?
What do I do? Do I do this normal, or do I go to start?